Hey guys, this week we are talking about Thanksgiving. Yes, I know it's trite, but honestly, it's not just talking about the holiday Thanksgiving. We are talking about what God requires of us, and that is to give thanks.
We talk about the church, family, theology, and even entertainment. In fact, if it's Christian, we're talking about it. This is the Mike Charleston Show.
All right, welcome to the Mike Charleston Show. Take two. This is Mike Charleston, and Sarah is to my left.
Hello, everybody.
And
Hi.
Larry.
I'm still Larry.
He's here, and we have Chuck over here.
Hey, everybody.
All right. Well, you know what? I forgot. Yeah, we have our in-studio audience here. I hope everyone's doing well out there. It has gotten cold here in Louisiana.
Well,
and
nice. I'd say nice.
What are you talking about?
It's cold.
It is very cold.
You weren't at the outside event I was at yesterday for like 4 hours.
It was cold.
It was cold.
It was cold.
You stand outside in that wind for 4 hours. It was cold.
Well, you know what it means, though? It means gumbo season. We had a cup of gumbo before the show, and Chuck didn't have the cup of gumbo.
That gumbo, you need to push that button, because that's what I was saying.
That's right.
That was me about a half hour ago.
So yeah, this is that time of year. It's Thanksgiving time, and I thought we should do one on being thankful. And so I know it's kind of cheesy to go with the seasons, but you know what? Honestly, this is a good topic to talk about. Every Christian should be thankful, and there's actually some things maybe you can learn about. But first, let's go and give a little history lesson. Thanksgiving is more important than you think, but however, it didn't start way back in history. So how did it come about? We have the Pilgrims, we have the Indians, we have Benjamin Franklin. I don't know when it actually became a holiday.
Well, I don't think the Benjamin Franklin wasn't there with the Pilgrims.
No, he was not.
Just to clarify that.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't in 1600.
Boat, huh?
It wasn't the three boats.
Yeah, they didn't ride the Nina, Pinta, and
Santa Marina.
Yeah.
That was Hoops and Yo-Yo.
Sangria or something like that.
Right. No, they came over a long time ago, and they suffered. They almost died, and the Indians helped them out, and it was a celebration of, I guess, life or something. And I think it was Ben Franklin that said, "Hey, we should have a day of Thanksgiving, and we should kill turkeys."
Yeah,
and
which is funny because if I remember correctly, I think Ben Franklin wanted to make the turkey the national bird.
He did. He really liked turkeys.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't a national drink. So it was like
a wild turkey.
That's right. It would be a whole different nation at that point. But no, he wanted to make the turkey the national bird instead of the eagle. Could you imagine that? So elegant.
Well, I don't know about wild turkeys, but domestic turkeys, we've raised them a bit. I don't know if you've ever raised them.
No.
They are dumber than a box of rocks.
Well, chickens are dumb. I can imagine
wild turkeys are not.
So
I'm not an avid turkey hunter. I didn't do it because I've seen people who do, and they spend a lot of money and a lot of time and end up with a tough bird. But but the wild turkeys, no, not dumb at all. They're very, 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 very perceptive.
I guess you have to be if everything wants to eat you. You have to.
That's right.
Well, tell that to the chickens. But, they haven't figured it out yet.
Well, I guess we don't see too many wild chickens. Nobody goes chicken hunting. Well, actually, that's not true.
They go snipe hunting.
In South Florida, down in the Keys, they have a problem with wild chickens.
Well,
seems like you guys have problems with a lot of things in South Florida.
Lizards and iguanas and wild turkeys down.
So my daughter, since we're going to digress to this, my daughter Elizabeth is living in Kauai right now, and in Kauai they actually used to have a chicken farm, and made a lot of chicken, and then something happened and the farm got like destroyed or whatever, and all the chickens got. So they have wild chickens everywhere on the island.
Okay, well they must not have any predators over there.
No.
So we ended up killing that possum. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't know that.
Jeremiah took care of that
Is
possum.
that what was in the gumbo?
No.
Disgusting.
No, he had to take care of it. We got our eggs back. So anyway, it didn't start way back with Ben Franklin, and the holiday for Americans. Canadians have a different day for Thanksgiving. It's sad that we have to have a holiday to show our Thanksgiving.
Remind us to be thankful.
Right. I mean, this is something that we should be on our minds at all times, right?
You know what I was thinking about, though, with this holiday? This is the only holiday that really hasn't been commercialized.
Oh, we'll talk about that in just a second.
Sure about that?
Well, in a way it has, but not. I mean, but there's Black Friday, but that's not really think for Thanksgiving.
No,
so
but it's been associated now, right?
I know, and they kind
So
of
it's too much. But yeah, you don't have to dress up. You just eat a lot of food, which I don't understand. Like our holiday celebrations, we're not very creative. It's just like eat more food. Like we do that every day.
Yeah, but we have different foods.
We do have different foods.
So like 4th of July, it's hamburgers, hot dogs.
Thanksgiving, it's turkey.
Right.
Christmas, it's ham, maybe.
Or turkey sometimes too.
Okay,
Or
goose.
roast beef.
The goose.
Oh yeah, goose. Yeah.
What do you eat on? What's the other holidays?
Easter.
Easter.
What about Labor Day? What do you eat on
Easter,
Labor
you have
Day?
ham. Yeah, Labor Day, hot dogs.
Hot dog,
Ham.
yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah.
I heard
Cookout.
that at Halloween people eat chili.
Labor Day, we eat doves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Labor Day. That's a good one. Okay, I think we're straying here. Okay,
of course.
Okay, so it didn't really start there. People have had reasons to be thankful since the beginning, right?
Right.
I mean, as
much.
Christians, we should have Thanksgiving as we shouldn't have to have a day to remind us to be thankful.
Right.
However, people are selfish, we're entitled, we're proud, and we turn into America. And that's what America is. At the heart of America is a lot of selfish, entitled, proud people. And we have to set aside a day. And in fact, we ruin this day by having at midnight or even 9 o'clock, Black
6
Friday.
o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
These days
it's
it's
just
moving,
ridiculous.
moving over.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, I remember it was always like the next morning, like
Yeah, 5,
8.
6 in the morning.
Well, then it became like 5, 6 in the morning, and now it became like midnight.
Right. Now
And
it's
now
already
it's-
it's in the evening.
Yeah,
and,
6 o'clock in the evening.
Can't even wait for the football games to end, and they're already doing their
That's
Black
the
Friday.
irony of it. It's like you just spent the whole day supposed to be thankful for everything you've had, and now you're gonna rush
We
out
want
to
more. We want more.
It's like
Yes, that's unfortunate. But so here's the interesting thing, and I know you guys know this, but in Romans chapter 1, when we're discussing Romans chapter 1, when you're going through the book of Romans, and I feel like I'm saying Romans too many times here, but in Romans chapter 1, it is 1, 2, and 3 is telling us of our sinfulness to convince us that we're sinners. In fact, so that we can be grateful for the gift that God has done. So it takes us 3 chapters to tell us that we're sinners. How the Jew is a sinner for just a regular person. We're all under sin.
Right.
And at the end of chapter 1, it starts talking about this long list of sins, and they're pretty brutal sins. And even after that, it says even those that don't do those things, but are grateful or thankful that other people do these things, they're also deserve death and all that. So at the end of Romans chapter 1, it is all these bad sins, right? Okay.
Yep.
Before that, though, it in verse 20 and 21, what does it say, babe?
It says, "For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened."
Yikes, you see 2 things in there that would speak of the human race that goes into all those bad things. They didn't glorify God.
Right.
And they were neither thankful. Now think about that. That is what we're created to do.
Yep.
We are created to give glory to God and to give him thanks. And those 2 simple things is what we did not do. And in fact, we became vain in their imaginations. And we were talking about this last night, that it seems like to be a cause and effect type thing, that if you are not thankful, what happens is you become vain in your imaginations, and you become arrogant, you become prideful, you start thinking you deserve something, that you are worthy of something, and you become entitled.
I'm probably going to step on some toes.
My toes are back here.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I need to move over.
Yeah. I think this is a root cause for a lot of people that suffer from depression, is just basically selfishness. They expect something, they're not getting it.
Yep.
And they get depressed.
Larry is jumping way ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
good. That's at the very end. But that's good. That's true. No, it is. There's a lot that's connected to Thanksgiving, like not the holiday, but being thankful and grateful for
Have you
things.
ever dealt with somebody who wasn't thankful?
A lot of
it's like you just want to slap.
What do
them.
you want to do, Larry? Tell us. What do you want to do?
It's just so annoying because you can't please them.
I think Larry said he was going to slap someone.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's it's just frustrating because
It is frustrating.
nothing pleases them.
And look, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
And all of us have been unthankful at some point or at one point in our lives. And obviously, when I was unsaved, I'm sure I was a lot more unthankful. And even while I was saved, there are times that I take things for granted. I feel like I'm entitled to something, I'm sure at times. And God has a way of breaking us down.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of Romans, that is a key thing there. Do a study on that. They neither glorify God or were thankful.
Yeah, like you said, that's the start of the whole list of things ends up in debauchery,
Right.
but it started with not glorifying God and not being thankful.
So here's a hint for everyone out there listening or watching on YouTube. Thank you. Press subscribe, like. Glorify God and be thankful. That is like very simple.
Yeah.
That's what we're to do as Christians,
What was
is
it?
glorifying God and be thankful.
In Ecclesiastes, Solomon said was the end of all things was to
Vanity.
but to glorify God.
Oh, yeah.
That was basically it.
Yes, I thought you were thinking of Micah, but okay.
Was that Micah? Or was it?
No, I think you're right. You're fine. Ecclesiastes is good.
Ecclesiastes.
Maybe it was.
Like Leviticus.
No, it wasn't Leviticus.
What is that?
No, it wasn't Leviticus. It might be in Leviticus somewhere, but no. So where does ungrateful come from? Ungratefulness. So like you were just saying, have you ever met someone that's ungrateful? All
Usually
the time.
probably comes from expectations that are set wrongly. I mean,
Right.
like you said, the entitlement and what we're expecting that we should be able to have. Or
I
do.
deserve something, right?
You deserve, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have my rights.
Pretty much. And once you have those, like you say, your expectations, is that how you put it?
Expectations.
I deserve something. We call that entitlement. Like I'm entitled. What are we really entitled to? Honestly, as humans, we're entitled to death.
Right.
That God, that we've sinned, and Him in His great mercy decided not to end the human race and kill Adam and Eve in the garden and start over. But he worked with humans, and he had to sacrifice. That's where the sacrificial systems came in, and eventually Christ came himself to be that final sacrifice. And we don't deserve anything.
No.
Anything that we have is from God. And so we have to realize that we don't deserve anything. We get so caught up that because we're Americans, we have our rights, right?
Right.
We're
Got my
fighting for our
rights.
rights. You have fight for your right to part. No,
No, that's a different one.
It's a different right.
Different subject.
Well, I feel like we have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness
Right.
as
Oh, yes.
Americans. So
Yep.
that's what I
And
deserve.
so when we don't get that, something's wrong.
That's right.
And so we protest, we fight. I deserve this, and I need this. So feeling like you deserve more or being entitled, that is definitely one.
Yeah, but I find it interesting. If I ask you, what are you thankful for? What's your immediate first thought?
Besides the basics like salvation and besides God, first thing is obviously my wife and my family and God's provision. So yeah,
So the interesting there is everything you just said was relationship.
right.
It's none of this stuff.
Yeah, it's not.
You know,
stuff.
so our
That's true.
expectations, whenever we bring expectations, it's never about expectations about relationships. At least I never see it. It's all about what I didn't get, what I'm entitled
Right.
to. It's not. But our thankfulness, if we stop and really try to determine what we're thankful for, it's all dealing with relationships.
Absolutely.
I mean, you get way down the list if you start talking about,
car.
I'm thankful for the roof over my head. Yeah, I am thankful for the roof over my head, but it protects my family.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's a good point. What are you thankful for, babe?
I'm thankful for you.
Oh, how about that? Is that bacon?
Well, as we know in relationships, expectations
Ruin them.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Exactly.
expectations. Okay, so what's the next one, babe? Ungratefulness comes from.
Not being content.
This is a huge one. We've talked about contentment before. I don't know which episode, but we have talked about contentment. And our first song that we wrote together was about being content.
You wrote a song?
Yeah, it was a very simple song, but
I
it was.
didn't know
I found the secret of being content in any and every situation. That was NIV. But being content is basically the same thing as being thankful.
Yeah.
And we are so discontented. I need the latest, greatest. I need the best things. I need the newest. I need the best outfit, the best cars, the best houses. I want to have the things that are most up to date. And life isn't really like that.
No.
You really should be thankful and content with what you have. And contentment will definitely, as we talked about, ruin your Thanksgiving, because what happens the very next day
We want more.
Yeah, we want more, yeah.
Right, we go to Stuff Mart, and we
Stuff
fill
Mart.
our carts with junk, and that was a VeggieTales reference there.
Stuff Mart.
But we go to Walmart, Target, wherever we go, the malls, and fill our. We're just not satisfied, and why are we not satisfied? Because we feel like we deserve it. I deserve this.
And it's the advertising.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean, they want you to buy more by marketing, and that's why all the holidays become.
We're bombarded by it.
Yeah.
And it's hard. We're going to have an email about that here at halftime.
Yeah.
As we call it, halftime show.
Well,
Right?
what did Paul say about contentment?
Contentment is great gain, but godliness is
and
great.
contentment.
Is great gain.
Yeah.
It is absolutely that we're here, like we were talking about earlier in Romans, there to glorify God and be thankful, right?
Right.
Give thanks to God and glorify Him. And that's as simple as it gets. And if you fail to do that, it leads to all kinds of problems. Selfishness usually harms you more than you think.
Right.
You think, well, I need this. You become very insular, and selfish is a killer.
Yeah.
So God has a reason why He wants us to do things. And being a giver is good for us.
Right.
It not only makes us feel good. Now that's why we don't just give because it makes us feel good, but it does make us feel good.
yeah.
You know, I like to receive personally, but giving
So all
is good.
those who want to give,
Thank you for everyone that does give. There's a few people out there
Yeah.
that do give and help us to continue on with the show. But I will go on.
well, you reminded me. Have you guys ever seen that show Hoarders?
I've never
not.
seen it. I
Never
know of
seen
it.
it.
It's so aggravating, but it's the
We
epitome.
are Christians. We don't watch
But that's
TV.
right. Oh, I know. I'm the heathen.
I know what you're talking about. Hoarders.
Yeah, but that's the epitome of people who
They can't let go.
can't let go of things,
Right.
and they want more, and they're looking for stuff to fulfill.
But you'll
them.
never know when you might need to use this. One
Right,
little
that's
thing.
true.
You don't want to
Please.
waste.
That's right. You don't.
So then the third thing about ungratefulness, where it comes from, where there's probably more than three, but we came up with three, is comparing.
Yeah.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
Comparing anything is bad. Comparing makes me feel better about myself
Yeah, it
sometimes.
does, yeah.
Like if I'm having a tough time with my kids and then I go around someone else and be like, not that bad. All of a sudden I feel good about myself. Kind of like Hoarders. You watch that show? I'm not that
Well,
bad.
I'm not that bad. I'm not that guy.
My house isn't that messy. But it's always a dangerous thing to compare.
Yeah.
It's always a dangerous
It's
thing.
a dangerous thing to compare, not necessarily a bad thing to have perspective. It's two words that means similar,
Right,
But
sure. Yeah.
whenever you realize perspective, and when I say that because I remember being young and my dad, whenever he felt like that things weren't going good or what, he had this particular community that he would go drive through.
Okay.
And it would reset his perspective. And he realized, okay, they're not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, kind of like what we were just saying, right? Hey, at least I'm not that guy.
Well, there is a proverb that said to look upon something and receive instruction.
Yeah.
I don't. Pam knows that. She quotes it
Yeah.
quite often. But
Yes, but she's in Texas.
yeah,
So so feeling like you deserve something, not being content, and comparing, which all is a selfish kind of entitled. I deserve something, and
Right.
that is the American disease that we feel like we have rights, and we do have rights, but those rights are given by God. But apart from those, what do we have? We don't really deserve anything in this life except for what God gives us.
right. And Paul said, "With food and raiment, therewith be content."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a very short list.
It is.
It is very short.
So,
Didn't
yeah.
even include a house.
No, I was going to say, I am thankful for my
He was
house.
a tent maker.
Yeah. Well,
His mobile house.
Yeah.
So how could ungratefulness affect a marriage? You're in the chick chair, babe. How could ungratefulness
In a
affect a
big,
marriage?
big way.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Because, when I read a lot of things in the Bible, I always seem to think of it in the perspective of marriage.
Sure.
But when it comes to being ungrateful, I think so often we again go back to the comparing, and like my husband doesn't do what somebody else's husband does,
Right.
and so we get very ungrateful and discontented with what we have.
Yeah, my wife doesn't do this, or my wife isn't like this. And you married who you married.
right.
Yeah.
Be thankful. And yeah, your wife may not be like so-and-so. Have her hang around her a lot then. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But that is a big one. I'm not you guys. You guys
Right.
aren't me. We're all unique people on this planet. And you do get caught up saying, I like that about that person. Well, that's nice. You can like that about someone,
Right.
but don't expect your husband or your wife to be that, because now you have an expectation that is going to
ruin the relationship.
It's going to, yes. Or maybe talk about it and be like, hey, could you pick up your underwear? And
Well, but if you would take time to
why
think
is it
of
always underwear on the floor? You know?
if you would take time to think of what you can be thankful for, like your
Right.
husband might not do this or that or whatever, but he does do some things.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't do much, but I do.
There's always something you
Something.
could find to be thankful for, and that would change your perspective greatly.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's a choice. You have to choose to look at the things you can be grateful for rather than focus on the things that they're not.
Yeah. And do we deserve to live like kings and queens? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, that was next on the list there. Do we deserve to live like kings and queens?
No.
Nope. I sometimes we start thinking that I deserve this. I work hard. My wife needs to submit and obey me, which is really up to her and God, between her and God, and vice versa. I'm supposed to love,
And I deserve to be loved like Christ loved the church.
right?
So that's what I'm supposed to get.
Hard for us to compare to. So
Yeah, if you want to compare yourself.
yeah, so we deserve what we really do deserve is judgment and death. And I'm not just talking about in marriage, you know, but that is what we do deserve as humans. We have failed. We failed God. We
Right.
don't glorify Him. We don't give Him thanks. We have sinned against Him. We deserve death. And He, in His great love and mercy, has made a way and a provision for us. And we should be extremely thankful for
Right.
that.
Right.
And so many people look at God and reject Him on that. And like, I don't want your provision. I don't
Right.
want your way. I want to go my way. And shame on them. You know,
Well, and God
God's
will
done
say,
everything.
okay.
He does.
Yeah, but you're going to suffer the consequences of that.
He does.
That's the other problem. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you said a comment a minute ago that made me realize that I remember what the comment was about a choice you were making, but for us to understand that thankfulness is a choice.
Yes.
We have the opportunity to choose to be thankful or to choose to be ungrateful. You know, it's a decision that we get to make. It's not an attitude. It's not just how you feel. It's a choice. You get to
Right.
choose, am I going to be thankful for? What am I thankful for? You get to do that. And if we do that, then our attitude probably improves
change, yeah.
greatly.
Mm-hmm. That'll follow. You can discipline yourself in this. This is something that you can be taught to do and be thankful and be like, oh, someone's doing something for me. I should at least say thank you, you know? And there's many ways to show it. We're going to get into that after the break. But, actually, we're going to get into it right now. Thanksgiving must be expressed, right?
That's right. Well,
And,
because you have the story of the 10 lepers.
And Luke 17.
And the one came back and said, thank you. Well, the others could have been thankful, but
They
They
didn't
didn't show it. Yeah.
we don't know. I mean, I would imagine when they were healed, they were probably like, oh, this is great. But they never said thank you.
Yeah, they were so excited they forgot to give thanks. Just like how often we excited to breathe God's air, but we don't thank Him.
Yeah.
You know, we don't. What's that one song? Many men drink the rain, but don't thank Him. Many men breathe the air, don't thank Him. That's not how the song goes, but that's part of the lyrics. But we just don't. We don't think about it. We take things for granted.
We do, yeah.
As you know, we just every breath we take, every step. That's a whole nother song. Never mind.
Every step you take.
Right. Where we should be very thankful for all that He gives us, and even being healed of leprosy is huge.
Yeah, that was a
I mean
big
that's
deal.
a huge thing. And of course you would think, well, of course I'd be thankful. But think about human nature as it is. Only one came back, and I wanted to think that Jesus must have sat there and waited, because He knew exactly where to find him.
Yeah.
And He came back and was like, "Oh, thank you." And He's like, and He even asked them, "Hey, did the other ones?"
Weren't there?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
Oh, okay. Well, that's human nature right there in a nutshell. That 10%, I'm not that good at math, but I know that 10% of the people came back, of the lepers gave thanks. But okay, so I think what we'll do is can I just say it right now, or maybe I'll just say it after the break. So anyway, we'll break, and we'll have time for a little game that we're going to play, a little fun thing that we're going to do for Thanksgiving. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening. This is the Mike Charleston Show.
is very subdued. We are back and just chilling like a villain. And all right, this is game time. What we were going to do, and I wish I had more time to put this together. We were going to give out the Turkey Awards. I saw this on some sports station one time about goofy people that did goofy things. They got the Turkey Award, and there was some things the last couple of years that Christians have done, like Bethel Church out there in California, dressing up like Gandalf.
Yeah.
And I was going to have some clown music in the background, and they dressed up like Gandalf and ended racism. You get a Turkey Award. And like Andy Stanley, he was at his church. Not a Led Zeppelin band come in and play Stairway to Heaven. To fail, he gets a Turkey Award. We didn't have enough of those, so we're not having a segment of that. But I thought it would have been funny.
That would have been fun.
All right, so what do we?
Hey, I got an idea.
It is game time with Abigail. What's your idea there?
So before we move on, we can have all our listeners email into us their Turkey Awards.
Speaking of which, by the way, we do have a Facebook page now. We finally started that. There's like 81 people following. Finally, we got someone to follow. It's been up for like a week, and we're going to start a community there where if you have questions or comments or something, it's easier to go there. We're still looking into IG, Instagram, or something like that. But anyway, that's a good idea. If you have a Turkey Award, that's something that's bizarre that's happened. We're not talking about moral failure. We don't want to make fun of that.
Right.
But something is just like stupid that someone in the church did.
Lame.
Yeah, like blowing away COVID on stage. So, all
With
right.
the breath of God.
That's right. So, Abigail, what do we have here? This is just going to be a quick little thing about what's on your plate.
Yep, it was your idea.
Yes, it was.
It's called, I just decided to call it What's on Your Plate. So
It's not really a game. We're not like winners or losers here. Of course, it depends on what you put on your plate. We're all winners now.
So this is just a bunch of...
Nothing. You lose.
I thought you said we're all winners.
Good day, sir.
Good day to you.
So this is supposed to be kind of more main stuff that you would have at Thanksgiving. And so I'm going to say something, and you're going to say whether or not you would put it on your plate for Thanksgiving.
All right. I think we could do this.
All right, we're going through the line.
I gotta have a
I'm
big
getting
plate.
hungry.
All right, so let's start with the first one. Would you put turkey on your plate?
What? That's the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to go around?
Yeah.
On my plate, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we're going turkey.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. We are. We got a clean
turkey.
sweep.
Cold turkey's good too.
Not cold turkey. No.
So the next one, mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes and gravy? Absolutely.
Would you do it without the gravy?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have some mashed potatoes.
Yes.
No, I'm going to pass on the mashed potatoes.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. He's
You
going to
keep
give
the
it a
mashed
big
potatoes.
X. With gravy?
Huh?
You don't like gravy?
I like mashed potatoes and gravy, but I'll pass on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
No, absolutely.
Yes. Chuck gives it a plus. So, yes. That's good.
Okay, what about gravy?
Well,
That goes on mashed potatoes, but what about on your turkey?
And stuffing.
Or in
gravy,
stuffing?
you could put gravy on everything.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Not
Well,
on
not
everything,
quite
but I like
everything, but
gravy.
yeah.
Not your
Gravy.
cranberry
Do you like
sauce.
gravy?
I'll take some gravy on my
Oh,
turkey.
He's got gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right, what about rolls?
Rolls. I'm all right with a roll. I'll put it on my plate. Why not?
I'm going to pass on the roll. I love them, but you can't fit it all. So
Yeah, I'm
gonna
with
pass.
Sarah. I need to have room for something else.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah, it's a yes for me.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
take
So
a roll.
yeah. My plate is filled up so far.
Yeah, it's
Well,
getting...
I think you're going to pass
This
on this
is where
next
it gets
one.
interesting. Yes.
Yeah, but if you were to say instead of a roll, my mother-in-law's homemade French bread, I'm in.
No.
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh. Does that get a?
All right, what about green bean casserole?
There is no way.
That is not touching
think so,
my
Tim.
plate.
Oh
No.
yeah, I'll have some of that.
Nope. I'm with Mike. I'm not in the
There
green
is
bean casserole.
no way.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So scrape that
I
right
like,
off my plate. That is one of the worst things you can make.
Yeah.
It's
So far I got turkey and gravy. We're not getting
all right.
All right, what about sweet potatoes?
For Mike, that would be
There is
a
no way.
Oh,
no.
I like sweet potatoes.
Absolutely take the sweet potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I right or am I
I
right?
think you've had everything. Like really?
So far, Larry's not having room for dessert.
All right, what about cranberry sauce?
Cranberry sauce. Yeah, that is definitely yes.
Like, of course you're going to have it. Yes.
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 Yeah,
Yes.
you put it on your sweet potatoes.
Am I right or am I right?
I put it on the dressing.
I don't know about
Or
all
the
the
stuffing.
sweet
Yeah.
potatoes.
Well,
Eat it.
on the sweet potato casserole, you didn't never put
just
cranberries.
well,
in?
sweet
No.
potatoes
I've never
are on my
done
plate,
that,
so I
but-
put it on my turkey. No.
Yeah.
What about, do you like it better jellied or
Either way, anyway,
berries.
either way.
Berries.
I like the drink. I like cranberries,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's good for later on when you have a UTI.
Yeah.
So
Just saying.
okay, what about stuffing or dressing?
it depends on the stuffing, but I will put it on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we got another
Love
one.
it.
Yes, I'm with stuffing or
Okay.
dressing.
Yeah. Do you ever put oysters in your stuffing?
What?
Oysters.
That's actually dressing. Oyster
dressing.
dressing is a
Oyster
Louisiana
dressing,
thing.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I've never heard
but
of that.
No, it's good.
I'm sure it is,
it's good.
but no, no.
You don't really
heard of
need, you can throw the oysters out.
I've heard of it, just never had it.
The flavor's good.
I don't think so, Tim.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, this next one I don't think should really be on the list, but it was on a top 10, so I put it anyways. Mac and cheese.
Okay, so mac and cheese. Not traditional,
No.
but
Would you put it on your plate?
I am gonna go with yes, I would.
What?
Yeah, why not? I like macaroni and
Is
cheese.
this like craft or like
no,
baked?
this is homemade.
Probably homemade.
It's
All
gonna
right,
be
well,
Thomas
either way,
Jefferson.
it's not going on my plate. This is
There is
Thanksgiving.
no way.
Yeah, I'm not doing mac and cheese. Mm-mm.
Wow, I'm the only one who'll try it.
it's- We're adults.
Put Uncle Tim's T13 on there and whatever.
Oh, that
Tony's.
that is pretty good stuff.
All right. Speaking of adults, what about 24-hour fruit salad?
Okay. If you put 24-hour fruit salad,
So you get
yes,
No.
nothing.
you're a loser.
You lose.
No, this is disgusting.
day, sir.
I am not putting green fluff on mine. There is no way.
I will take
There
some
is
24-hour
no
fruit
way.
salad.
Babe, you just
Sorry, it's
no,
I grew up
thank
with
you.
it.
Yeah, well, some people might not know what that is.
explain what it is.
It's slime with.
It is not slime.
It's a congealed salad with has a lime
It's fruit.
color to
It
it,
has
with
marshmallows,
and the
jello,
marshmallows.
jello, grapes,
I don't like Jell-O.
pineapple.
What happens to the marshmallows?
They get soft.
They get slimy.
They do.
Ugh.
I think it's what kids like. I think it's a kid's thing.
Yeah.
Whipping cream.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's
actually
Joshua,
really good.
it is.
Yeah.
He said it's wrong. No, he's wrong.
All of our kids either like it or love it. Most of them love
No,
it.
like I said, kids.
Yeah.
No, I give you a wrong. No.
All
You
right.
don't like Joshua having those buttons, huh?
What's next?
What about carrot souffle?
Oh, absolutely. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take some carrots
Yeah.
with me
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, we got plenty. This is the way. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what,
What about corn casserole?
I love corn. So if it was corn on the cob, absolutely. Corn casserole?
Yeah,
I'm
casserole.
If it says casserole, I'm in. I'll take some of that.
I'm with Mike on this one. I can do corn on the cob. I can do whole kernel. I can do cream corn.
Yeah,
Homemade cream
yeah,
corn.
yeah.
That's
Casserole. I'm not.
yeah. I'm not a big casserole person.
So far,
but
you
at
have everything but
Thanksgiving-
macaroni and cheese.
and the
Congealed
green
salad,
slime.
the green slime.
Good man. Good man.
It's not green slime.
Baby steps.
All right, and last
Baby
one for our
steps.
main dishes. What about squash casserole?
Oh my goodness. There is no. This is ridiculous. No, there's
Again,
no
if
way.
it says casserole, squash casserole is
no,
amazing.
No.
Yeah, I'm with them.
No.
And I'm the opposite of
no
Sarah.
way.
If it's casserole, I'm like, no, I'm not really into casserole
No.
thing.
I can't do this one.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
Just do
Casserole.
squash, with some
sauteed
butter,
squash,
sauteed
yeah.
down
So
with some
all you
onions.
guys are coming over for Thanksgiving, right?
I think we're headed that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not having all this.
We're not having all this.
No. Now this is the interesting part.
All right, now we're going to transition over to the desserts.
We should have done the Louisiana Thanksgiving plate now.
Okay.
No, desserts.
All right, what about pumpkin pie?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, what about a pumpkin roll?
Let's just put it this way. If it has pie at the end, it's on my plate.
Okay, but she
So,
said pumpkin roll.
I know pumpkin roll. I'll eat a pumpkin roll.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We got
I'm
all.
in.
Am I right or am
I'll
I
try
right?
some.
Or am
Yeah,
I
I'll take a little.
Yeah, okay.
Not my favorite, but
Are
I'll
those
take
those cold ones?
Yes.
Yeah,
those
they're
are
pretty good.
awesome. Those are-
Yeah.
What about a frozen pumpkin mousse pie?
I know everybody likes that, and by the time it gets around to me, it's gone. But I'll try it. You
There's
know.
usually like
try
4
it.
of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, no,
I get to it late.
I want that.
Yep, she likes it.
I don't know what that is.
It's ice cream
With pumpkin.
It's awesome.
pie.
Ginger snap crust
Yeah.
with like vanilla ice cream and pumpkin mixed
Okay,
together.
it's got ice cream. I'll try it.
Oh yeah, it's up there.
What about apple pie?
Absolutely. Once again, pie. Yep. With ice
I
cream.
mean,
yep.
sure, you just can only eat so much pie. But I
Well,
like
this
it.
is all make believe because there's no way I'm eating all this.
Okay. Yeah.
I am.
I'm
I'm
good
rolling
with
in
apple
busting.
pie.
Little small portions.
Yeah, okay,
Small
little bites.
sliver.
Yeah, you have an apple pie?
Yeah, I have apple pie.
Yeah.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah.
Cherry pie?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what about pecan pie?
Okay, so of all the pies, pecan is an interesting one because if it's a good pecan pie, it is good. But most of the time, it's burnt or something like that. But you know what? It's Thanksgiving. Why not? Let's go.
What?
Why
no,
not?
I'm not doing pecan pie.
Yeah,
Sorry.
if it's a good pecan pie, absolutely.
But what's the chances?
So
are you putting it on? How do you know? You gotta put it on,
put it
right?
on. You put it on.
Okay, Chuck's going to put it on.
No,
No?
I'm not a big fan of pecan pie.
Yeah.
I like pecans, but just for some reason, like you said, it tastes burnt.
All right, and our
And-
last one is chocolate pie.
Well, that's definitely a yes.
Mike says yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love chocolate pie, so yes, but it doesn't really fit Thanksgiving.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, no. If you take it, depends on what the chocolate pie is. If you make a homemade cooked chocolate pie, you've ever had that?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Like a Mississippi mud pie?
that's
that's
different.
good.
I'm talking about the
delicious.
homemade, where you homemade shell, the homemade chocolate. You do all of it with the
You're speaking my
meringue
language.
on top. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
I'm
yes.
good with that one.
Yes.
You forgot a mincemeat pie.
Oh, wow.
Mincemeat pie.
Larry.
Hey, my father, my grandpa used to make that. I think it was my grandpa.
Is that really what
Mincemeat
is
pie.
it made with? Is it made with meat?
Originally, yes. You go buy the jar at the store. I don't think there's any meat in it.
No.
But
Originally,
yeah,
pies were made with meat. Like
yeah,
you
they
said.
had real
Yeah.
mincemeat pie.
Yeah.
Meat and fruit just, I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know we asked this question on Facebook, on the Facebook page, and a couple people have answered what their favorite. So please go on and put us what your favorite thing is for Thanksgiving, even if it's not traditional. Go ahead and put it out there. And you know what? It is not only is it break time. Are we going to have to take a quick break here so you to get out because we're going to do an email?
I couldn't pick a favorite meal or dish for
What about
Thanksgiving.
prime rib?
Well, yeah. I mean,
That's not traditional.
That's not traditional.
no.
So what would be a non-traditional thing that you would want at Thanksgiving, like gumbo or
Oh,
jambalaya?
yeah.
Gumbo.
Yeah.
Okay, gumbo.
Yeah, gumbo.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I want tradition.
Oh, well, but if
Thanksgiving.
you weren't going to get tradition,
Then I'll go Greek.
oh, that's a good point.
I mean,
Yeah, what did Greek Thanksgiving look like? Do they have a turkey?
They don't
No,
have one.
it's always delicious. So, okay, well, we're gonna through the magic of editing, we'll be right back real quick to read this email. All right, guys. So we got this email, and this is actually a good question, and Chuck hasn't heard it yet.
I have not.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
so this is gonna be, babe, that's too
Wow.
small for me.
Here you go. You want
Can you
these?
read it? Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Okay, it says, "Hello, show. We hear stories all the time of Christians being persecuted and going through difficult times, yet their faith in God is unshaken. My question is, how do Christians keep their faith strong when they are facing no trials? America has faced little to no persecution, and sometimes it's hard to stay focused on what really matters. How do we stay away from frivolous distractions and serve God? Thanks again, Tina."
Tina, thank you, Tina. You might want to ask that question on the Facebook page there, and if you're on it, and maybe get some other responses. But this is a good question.
Yeah,
It's a really good question. That's the theory out there is if you are going through persecution, a lot of the little things don't matter.
Right.
Right.
And you stay focused a little bit more because your life depends on it. You're going to be dying for your faith maybe. And here in America, where there is less persecution, if any, we can sit back and take it easy and enjoy the easy life. And it's a different distraction where the temptation to lose your faith by threats of guns and evil, and we're going to come in and steal your kids and all that. That's a real threat.
Right.
And there's a real threat to complacency
Right, yeah.
of not doing this. Now, Larry said it was a super easy, barely an inconvenience. What was your response when we were talking earlier?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but basically,
All right, then.
was what did I say? It was so profound.
It
too.
was
No,
very
no,
profound. No, it was very simple.
It was simple. Just to be thankful.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Our show. That's what you were saying.
That's what I said. I said it's a good segue to what we're talking about.
Being thankful.
To be thankful. Because like you said, that it's so easy to lose sight of your faith.
Right.
Because it is so easy. Like the Israelites, when God said, when you get into the land and you see the fatness of it and stuff, don't forget to realize where you came. I know this is a really bad paraphrase, but
do we understand?
Yeah.
You understand. And that's what happened. They got there. They had the abundance.
Which version is that one that we can put on the screen?
I think it's the
LEV?
Yeah, something like
Larry English version.
English version. But they did. They got fat and lazy.
Yes.
And they, complacent. And so, like you said, the temptation when you're facing those real persecutions, it's in a sense you realize, okay, this is for real.
Yeah.
Where's my faith?
Right. It makes it more like
kind of in your face, in a sense.
Yeah.
But when you're just living in a life of peace and prosperity, it's sort of like boiling the frog over time.
Yep.
It's easy to lose your faith because you just start to expect that life is always going to be easy. So
That comes back to a word that we probably don't like a lot, is discipline.
discipline, that's right.
You have to discipline yourself and have intention in what you're about and what you're going to do, and realize what the priorities are. We lose sight of the priorities and we get complacent. But otherwise, we have to refocus ourselves and discipline ourselves to do those things that are what we're supposed to be doing as Christians.
Absolutely.
And to choose to be thankful for what you do have. And not that I honestly, I don't want to have to suffer persecution.
No, I try to avoid if I can,
exactly. But I would like to think that I would try to be thankful in those situations. I try to be thankful where I'm at now.
Well, before I give my answer, what about the woman's perspective? Do you have an answer from the chick chair?
Well, I don't know about an answer, but I know that there was...
Do you have a perspective?
Sure.
Okay.
We had a friend that would always ask me that question, like, how do you stay focused on God, even though, we have so many things pulling at us and that take our time and attention. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like it's kind of the same kind of question here. How do we avoid those distractions? And I feel like we just do, like we were talking about earlier, what all the things that the Bible tells us to do. When we look at all of the commands in Scripture, when we're singing, when we're praying, when we're serving others, when we're, seeking God and trying to follow the Spirit in the way that He's leading us, I feel like the rest of the stuff just kind of goes away. Like seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness and all these things.
Yeah, the lure of this world does lose its flavor if you're glorifying God in everything that you do, and if you're following in His footsteps and what He wants us to do, and if we're truly being thankful and content and giving glory to God in everything that we are doing. And my answer was to be busy, like to be busy about the kingdom and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That doesn't just mean witnessing. That just means like I have a lot to do. And as we'll find out, what the will of God is one of them is to be thankful.
Right.
But to love my wife, to love my children, to raise them up, to teach them the ways of God, to be a good example at work. I mean, there's a lot of things that can distract us in this world, but like Chuck was saying, if I discipline myself and I stay focused on the reality of this world, and that is Christ, then it becomes easier and easier. I don't know how old you are, Tina, and please don't tell us how old you are, but I'm assuming you're younger, and you will understand maybe as you get, and if you're older, maybe it's just a question you're thinking about, but I tend to think that as you get older, if you're mature in the Lord, it gets easier to realize these things and realize the distractions. Maybe not. Maybe as you get older, maybe sometimes those distractions become overwhelming and you forget about what's really important in life. I don't know. But I do know that if we focus on what we're supposed to be about, who we are as a people in Christ, then those distractions are minimal. And yes, the persecution makes it more in your face, like you said. But if I'm glorifying God in everything that I do at work, on my ride to work, and when I'm talking to my kids, whatever I'm doing, if I'm witnessing, if I'm just being a good example to coworkers, sharing my faith to the person at the grocery store, or whatever I'm doing for the glory of God, I'm staying focused. Focused. It's just who I am. It's what I breathe. It's the living of it is I'm consumed by Christ, and it should come out. When we have a lot of decisions, especially young people, they can get so distracted because they have so many decisions to make in life. And there's so many things to do. Yeah. And you're like, ooh, I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that. Well, those are called distractions, and not that they're necessarily bad. Right. You just have to realize what they are. And so anyway, I hope that helps out, Tina, your question. But yeah, that would be a good one if you put it on Facebook and see what other people have. I'm sure they have some good answers out there too. So, all right. Well,
I was going to say, one of the things about persecution is it is in a sense, like we said, it's a little easier in some regards, I would think. Not that I've ever lived through it, but
right.
Prosperity, on the other hand, is it can destroy your faith, because as we were talking earlier in the segment, was that
you don't need God.
You don't need God, and then you start to expect things.
Right. Like look what I've done. I've done all this. I really didn't need God. Right. And you did. So, all right. Well, we will be right back with the rest of the Thanksgiving episode.
Thank you for listening to the Mike Charleston Show.
All right, we are back. Thank you, everyone that's here. We are back. You know what? I wanted to say this earlier in the first segment, but might as well say it now. You know what? This is the Thanksgiving episode, and I do want to thank Chuck and Larry and Sarah. Yes, we give them a short cheer.
Thank you.
For coming on. I know it's a sacrifice at least for Chuck, driving in. Larry just has to walk over. So maybe it's still a sacrifice, but Sarah puts a lot of work in on this, and so I do want to thank you guys for helping out with the show. Yeah. And I'm sure the listeners, maybe the listeners are thankful. I don't know. Maybe they'd rather you off. I don't know. But
I think Joshua too. All the work.
Yeah, Joshua. That's true too. Thank you. Yeah, Joshua and Abigail. Abigail. She comes on and does the games, and Joshua puts a lot of work in. So a little clap for Joshua. Yeah, Joshua always gets forgotten, and all these,
the unseen person.
But that's all right. He's a good trooper, but he does a very good job. So thank you, Joshua. You're supposed to say you're welcome. No, he doesn't have a sounder for that. All right, so so we have that out of the way. The Bible tells us to be thankful, right? So this is where it's gonna be the Sarah segment. She's just gonna read. And no, honestly, why don't you go ahead and 1 Chronicles 16:8. It's not every day you get a reference from 1 Chronicles. So go ahead.
I put that one in there. Give thanks unto the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people.
So this is just a lot. If you look up thankfulness, there is plenty in the Bible, right? Yeah. And this is just one of them. You wanted to put one from Chronicles in there, right?
I did. Well, and I like that it said make known his deeds among the people.
That's true.
We don't just thank him. We tell people what God's done for us.
Right. So. Testify.
Yeah.
Good old black churches in the day, and in our old church, we'd like stand up and testify, and everyone would testify and what God has done. And those were always exciting. Psalm 92:1.
We're going to sing it or just read it?
Just read it.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High.
O Most High. Yes, it is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord. If you're old like us, we all know that song, right?
No.
Oh, wow.
Are you serious?
I guess we're not old like you.
Guess not. Man, we sing that song like every Sunday in church back in the 80s and early 90s.
I know who did that song? Give thanks to the Lord. Oh, give thanks.
Don Moen, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Did Keith Green do one?
I'm sure.
I don't know.
No. Yeah.
Stand up and sing, all you people. Yeah, it's Keith. I think Keith Green. Anyway.
I can't find it right now. Anyway. Where is it? You keep saying that word, but
you keep using that word.
Yeah, you moved it all around. All these sounders are different.
You keep using that word.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
So God deserves our thanks and praise, right? Like we talked about in the first segment, that we should glorify him and be thankful. And that's the very basics right there. It's just glorify him, be thankful. That's what he kind of requires. So every good thing that we have comes from God, and we should thank him for it, right? Which is what James 1:17 says, right?
Yep, says every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning.
That's
so you
right.
talked about what?
Are we going to sing that one too?
No,
That's all
They
I
don't
do.
know that
we
one.
don't know that one for sure.
I think so. Yeah, I know that one.
Oh,
Okay.
Sing
Wow.
it. Sing a few bars.
you go
A
ahead,
few
Larry.
bars.
Father of lights,
Sing your version, Larry.
do delight.
Every good and perfect gift
gift.
comes from you.
Nope.
Maybe not.
Nope.
No, I know
Anyway,
different
yeah.
versions
There's
of
an
that.
old vineyard.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so
But thanks
what
for
were you saying?
singing.
Well, earlier you were talking about what we deserve and how we act like we deserve so much.
Yep.
But God actually does deserve
Yes,
all
he
the
does.
praise, all the thanks,
Yep.
everything, because all that we have that's good is from him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know a tradition. I don't know if you guys do this, but I know a lot of people, you see it on movies and things like that. At Thanksgiving, let's go around and say what we're thankful for. And it's always this one thing. And, honestly, we could all stand up and say, first and foremost, yes, you waited for it. There it was.
There it was.
First and foremost, we should give thanks to God for
Right.
everything.
Right.
Every perfect gift is from above, and it comes from the Father of lights, which is an interesting... he didn't just say from the Father above, the Father of lights.
Father
Right.
of lights. I said, yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so what's next here?
So next we have Thanksgiving brings peace and cures anxiety.
So this is what Larry was talking about at the beginning,
Yeah.
and we're saying you're
Depression.
just a little.
Sorry,
we'll get
I-
there,
Hang on,
but
man.
It's all good.
So Philippians 4:6-7.
Says, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus.
So you were saying earlier that the depression and all those
anxiety sometimes and
kind of comes from not being thankful.
right. Now, not every case,
Right,
for
sure.
sure, but a lot of them, it is. It's because selfishness. You
Yep.
feel you deserve something, or you want something, and you're not getting your way. So you basically.
Well,
throw a
and look
fit.
what, right here, we're in Philippians, he's like, be careful in nothing, which
Right.
like, I know other translations, like be anxious for nothing, like you were just talking
Right.
about anxiousness, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be known unto God, and the peace of God. And that's not like the peace like we were at war with God. This is actually peace.
Right.
The peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ. So think about that a lot of the problems we bring are brought on by ourselves and our
Yeah.
stresses of
Yeah.
life and the pressures of life that we are unnecessarily there or unnecessary. What am I trying to say? It shouldn't be there, right?
Right.
And we bring it there unnecessarily.
Right.
That's
It's-
what I'm trying to say.
A lot of it is we're suffering the consequences of our bad decisions,
Pretty much.
and we don't like it. So
and
we
what do
get
we
depressed.
really want? We want peace. We want we want to chill. When life is coming at us hard and heavy, kind of like the email was talking about. All the distractions, we can fill our life with so many distractions that we are running ragged and we're so tired and we don't even know our head from our tail. And we're just like, I can't do this anymore. Well, I know this is talking about prayer, but if we let the peace of God, that will calm us down. That will, you want to talk about being centered, and all that nonsense. But Christ does give us peace. And part of that, one of the keys there is being thankful.
Right.
I would think so.
Yeah.
So
It seems to follow the Thanksgiving, and it seems like we live in a culture where there's so much anxiety
yes.
and stress, and it just seems like, it has to be correlated to our ungratefulness.
Yeah, because if you don't have, you don't want. I mean, if you want something and you don't have it, that brings more stress, more
Right.
pressure to perform, get a better job, get a bigger job, get more jobs.
Yeah. Or you start comparing. I want what they got. I
Right.
want the new.
Right.
They have it. Why don't I have it? I
Right.
should have it.
And there goes the peace of God.
Yeah.
It just flows away from you. And being content, being thankful, make your supplications to God and be done with it. And if God blesses you, then so be it. If not, then be content.
It's like in the Old Testament when the Israelites were going through the desert, God fed them, And I'm sure maybe after 20 years or so eating manna,
You get tired of
you get
that?
a little tired of it.
They got a little tired.
But really, when you think about it, God provided for them every day. They
Yes.
didn't have to go work for it. They didn't have to plant fields. They didn't have to hunt.
Yep.
They just went out and gathered it every day. And they got to where they got complacent.
Absolutely.
And then they just started complaining. And rather than be grateful that God provided for them their every need,
Absolutely.
over time they just got complacent and ungrateful.
So Psalm 50, 14 through 15, what does that say?
Says, offer unto God thanksgiving and pay thy vows unto the Most High and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee and thou shalt glorify me.
Now, you like this because of what we were talking about this earlier. Was it because of Jonah, or was this the part of Jonah, or was it just because of like what we were talking about before, the peace of God that you're in trouble? Why don't you explain why you like it?
Well, it is because of that too, but I heard someone talking about Thanksgiving, and they were talking about the story of Jonah and how at the end of chapter 2, he's in the belly of the whale and he offers God thanksgiving, and which is kind of odd because it's a really strange place to be thankful, you know. It's like, okay, you're probably going to die in there, but anyway. And the next verse, God causes the whale to throw him up onto the shore or whatever, and he lived. And it's like just that, it says offer unto God thanksgiving, and then it goes on to say he'll deliver us. And it's like, that's what happened with Jonah.
Right.
He offered thanksgiving and then God delivered him. And I wonder how many times God has deliverance ready for us, but we don't take the time to stop and to thank him for what he has done and that he's with us and that he'll help us through.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
No, that's good. So, Larry, do you think you, if you were in the belly of a whale, if you would give Thanksgiving?
I don't think so, Jim.
Probably not. I have a hard time in traffic. I think if the Bible would have been written nowadays with people having to drive through heavy traffic, there might be some exceptions there with the thankfulness and stuff and not complaining.
seriously?
So, anyway, Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
With the idea of Jonah and the fact that he was in the trouble he was in and that he was able to give thanksgiving. Brings up the idea that we hear, as you know, is in all things give thanks. So, here people say, well, does that mean all things? Is we're supposed to give thanks in all things?
Yes.
What if I'm going through this miserable time and everything's horrible and, I can't get anything to work the way I wanted to? Am I supposed to be thankful then? Well, it's not easy,
Right.
But at the same time, can you think of something to be thankful for?
Absolutely.
Or can you just be thankful for the opportunity to learn?
Right.
Because I've learned in my life, I'd rather learn it the first time than having to go through it again and again and again. Because if you don't learn the lesson the first time, God's going to give you another opportunity.
Yeah, we'll keep repeating it.
Be thankful for the opportunity, even though it's not a trial. Be thankful for those trials, like James says, and it'll bring patience, and you will actually learn from the experience, and you will become a better person.
Absolutely. Now, we got a couple more things here, but why don't we go through the Thanksgiving? So what is Thanksgiving? I know Lydia had a question at the end here, but
does.
we'll have Thanksgiving is what? It is the opposite of selfishness, right?
Right.
It is. So self is out of the picture, and a Christian's life should be completely devoid of self. It is no longer I, but Christ that lives in me, and selfishness should be out. It goes with humility. It is a very prideful thing to not want to give thanks. I deserve this. I mean, could you imagine going up to someone and here's something to eat, and just not say anything, and I deserve this. I do people's houses, and sometimes they tip me, and they tip me pretty good sometimes. And every single time, I'm going to say thank you because
absolutely.
I don't deserve it.
Right.
That is definitely not deserving it. And even if it's, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but one time it was like $5 a person, and they're like, only $5? And I'm like, only $5?
Yeah.
$5, that's half a meal at McDonald's now.
No, I've had that happen. I'm always grateful.
Yeah.
I always say thank you.
Yeah, because they don't need to. They absolutely do not need to.
I wasn't expecting it, and
yeah, so it goes with humility. It produces joy. Thanksgiving produces joy. How does it produce joy, babe? I forgot. I asked you, and you were saying something.
Just because when you start to think of everything that you do have to be thankful for, it's going to make you happy when you
Yes,
start.
it's gonna make you happy.
You're looking at all
Right.
the bright side of things and
It's
all
kind
that
of
you
like
do
praising
have.
the Lord. When you start
That's
praising
right.
the Lord, you're
Even
gonna
if
be
you don't
happy.
feel like it, eventually you feel like it.
Yeah.
Because there's so
Yeah.
many things to praise Him about and give thanks, and so that's true. And what does it do? Lastly, here Thanksgiving. Not lastly, I'm sure there's many, but on our list, it shows trust in God. We can thank Him for the trials that we face, kind of what we were talking about earlier, knowing that He is with us and that He will use all that we go through for good. That's trust, and that's tough. Like ladies, if they're doing what they're supposed to, biblically speaking, and obeying and trusting their husbands and by submitting to them, that's tough because you're talking about a human, and you're trusting Him that He knows what He's doing. Well, we're following someone that's perfect, Christ, and He is with us. And even though we may not understand it all, and the things that we're going through, and somehow He's going to use this for our good, and He does care, and that's a wonderful thing to know.
Yeah.
All right, babe, let's finish this off here shortly. Here we got a couple more things, but 1 Thessalonians 5:18
says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you."
Yeah, you wanted to know what your will was earlier,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's-
give thanks. That's
right.
the will concerning you. This is one of God's will. People want to know what God's will is.
Yeah.
Once again, I know it's overly simplistic.
Right.
It's nothing fancy. It's nothing super spiritual. Give glory to God and give thanks.
I
Right?
think that's to me anyway. When you read the Bible, we often look for the grand. We want to be that person. We want to be the Samuel.
Find that
or-
nugget, that special truth, that special
Right.
knowledge.
Or we want to be that grand prophet.
Right.
But you look at those lives they lived. Look up the Apostle Paul. I wouldn't want to live his life.
No.
But no,
Right.
now you put it that way.
Yeah. But what does God want? He
I
wants
don't
the
think
simple.
so, Jim.
Yeah, that's right. He wants the simple things. Be grateful, glorify God, and
Yeah.
that's kind of simple.
It's concerned with the attitude of the heart.
Right. Yeah.
It's just simple.
Yeah.
It's really when you start reading the scriptures and you start studying. As I've gotten older, I realize it's just that simple.
Yeah.
It has to do with love. Has to do with forgiveness. Has to do with grace, and being thankful.
Being thankful.
Just the simple things. It doesn't have to. You don't have to figure out the rapture of the church and the end times and all that, which we're talking about tonight. But it's just the simple things. And so we have this little note here by Corrie ten Boom and the Fleas. Now, do you know who Corrie ten
yeah.
Boom is?
Yeah.
You know who Corrie ten Boom is? Okay, everyone out there
Do
knows.
y'all remember the fleas?
Yes, I remember the police.
Yeah, it was. She was thankful for the fleas.
Betsy was.
That's who
Yeah.
it was.
And she'd point
Corey's
out that
like,
verse.
how in the world?
Okay, first, people may not know who Corrie ten Boom is, but she was a prisoner in one of the concentration camps in World War II.
Right.
She wasn't a Jew or anything, but she was a political prisoner.
Right.
She helped. She helped. Jews.
Yeah, her family was hiding Jews.
So she would. They all complained about the fleas, right?
right.
Right.
Yeah.
In the-
Now carry on.
Go ahead.
No, you're doing great.
No, you're doing great.
Okay, well, they had fleas in the one
Ain't she
room.
the smart one?
They had fleas in the one room that Corey and Betsy were in, and Betsy said that we need to give thanks because it says in everything give thanks, and Corey was like, "That's
fleas?
crazy.
Right.
I don't know how you could give thanks for fleas."
But why did she? Okay, right. Yep.
But it turned out that because of the fleas, the one guard that was like very brutal and would come into the room and whatever wouldn't go near their room.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
because of
stayed
the
away
fleas. So
because of the fleas. So I was
Right.
like, wow, that was really
have
amazing.
you ever been in a room or that had a severe
Yes, our house.
infestation of fleas?
Yeah,
I
we've
don't know about
dealt with
severe, but-
fleas.
We had a duplex when we were first married, and the other tenants had a dog, and they left. And I went in there, and I was only in there maybe 10 seconds, and my whole jeans were just covered in fleas. I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Did you give thanks?
No, I was thankful that it wasn't my house. It was there.
No, when we moved before we moved in our house, when we were looking at this house, the living room and the bedroom especially was filled
Totally
with
infested.
fleas.
awful.
And I probably turned a lot of people away, but I'm like, just rip out the carpet,
Right.
get new carpet. And
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, give thanks for fleas, man.
That's a perspective to be thankful because, it kept the guard away.
Change your
and-
perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, there is now. It says in everything, give thanks. It doesn't say give thanks for everything.
It's not for everything.
No,
Right.
in everything.
Yeah.
But there's we don't know what's going on. We don't know how fleas could actually benefit us, but and I don't know how everything's going to work out. God knows.
But again, it goes back to the trust thing.
Right.
Because if we trust God, we know that he'll work through whatever situation, whatever we're going through, and that he'll have his way and bring
I
good.
mean, they were in a concentration camp.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But to just be thankful that the fleas were
details.
there. Yeah. Just. But the guards were not. They didn't have these prisoner rights at that time.
That's right. No prisoners' rights. Now, what do you
So-
mean by this, baby? You said we shouldn't thank God to get something out of it. Because that like trying to
Well, because
change
like
God's
you hear
mind?
the story of Corrie ten Boom, and you're like, okay, let me try to see what I can get God to do.
Right.
You know, it's-
He's not a genie. It's
You're
like
not-
we've figured out the trick here. Let's give thanks for this, and then I can get this. No. You
I'll be
should-
thankful for my old car so that I'll get a brand new one.
That's
Yeah.
right. No, it doesn't work that way. You might be driving that car for a long time then.
Yeah.
And,
I'd be grateful for it.
so, what if you're not thankful? This was
you're
kind
not
of Lydia's
thankful?
question. Our youngest was like, "Well, what do you do to change that?"
Well, have you ever watched the movie Pollyanna?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a maybe a little bit of a cheesy, fun old,
Yes,
old
it is.
movie from
Yeah, it's a little
Disney,
kids movie, but it's fun.
But it has, I mean, the message of the movie actually is a very good point. They say, we look for the good in people. We actually,
Right.
she would get in a situation, she was like, she looked for what can we be thankful for? It was the thankful game that her dad
Yep.
taught her.
Yeah.
Right.
What can we be thankful for about this situation? And it's simple, and it may seem odd, it may seem a little weird, but you look for it. You're in
Right.
that position. Look for what is it I can be thankful for, even given the situation that we're in, where we're stuck in a concentration camp with
That's right.
fleas. There's not much to be
Yeah.
thankful for.
Absolutely. No. So, if you're not thankful, then that does kind of reveal your heart.
Right.
And that's all right. Now that knowing is half the
That's
battle.
right. I was just gonna, you said it before me.
Should you just say it even if you don't feel thankful? Absolutely.
Right.
It's
go
going to
ahead.
produce joy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start learning this. Like, okay, I'm thankful. I am thankful. What about this am I thankful for? Kind of like play the thankful game.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, you think about it, especially if you live in America. I mean, there's so much, you have so much available to you.
I know.
And it just, even people, I mean, they're talking about, the stores, food shortages and stuff. I haven't seen it. I mean, you go to the store. I just bought a turkey the other day for $1 a pound.
We are so spoiled.
I know.
We
It's
are.
just,
Is dollar pound good?
I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, it was 98 cents a pound.
Yeah.
So under $1 a pound but there's so much to be thankful for. And there's so many people that, as bad as your situation is, I used to think growing up as a kid, things were bad in my childhood. Then I met my wife and I'm like, wow, she had a lot worse than I did. So there are people that
Pam,
do
that
have
is
things.
Larry at fellowshipofbelievers.org. You can email him.
But no, because it put it in perspective, as bad as I thought my life was, somebody had it a lot worse. Yeah. And so I could kind of be thankful that I didn't have their life because it was worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a weird way of looking at it.
It is.
but-
I know it's a weird one. I'm a little weird.
Yeah.
But it's
well, what are
matter-
those poor kids thankful for?
Right. That's
You're
what
not
I'm-
very lucky.
That's right. If you're at the bottom and you have nobody else to compare
right.
yourself to, then, but yeah, things could always be worse.
So how do you become more thankful?
Play
be
the thankful game.
Yeah, just be thankful.
Just start.
Yeah, you
Start.
start disciplining yourself to say it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's one thing to feel it. Like I know that, like Lydia was like, if you're not very thankful, well, you should feel it. You should know this. And parents need to teach their kids.
Right.
Like, this is an important thing to teach their kids. When someone does something for them, I don't care if it's giving them something, like that's obvious, but even doing something for you, like picking that up, oh, thank you. And it's such a habit that, when you do something, thank you. The minute I stop saying thank you, it's like, well, I expect you to do that for me,
Right.
and then you become a servant. And I can't even imagine having a servant because
That'd be weird, wouldn't
well,
it?
yeah, I would be thanking them all the time. They're like, "This is my job," and I'm like, "I know, but thank you, thank you for all
I'd
that
be
you
like,
do."
here, you sit down. Let me get you a plate of food for you.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. If I'm paying them, Anyway, I hope everyone, I know this is that time of year and people are going to be talking about Thanksgiving, but this is an actual good topic.
Right.
You know,
It
giving
is.
thanks to God is something that should always be on our minds, and we should always be at the forefront of anything that we do. I mean, that is part of prayer. What prayer is what worship is giving thanks. To praise God is to thank God for all that He's done. And if you're out there and you don't have anything to be thankful for, let me tell you something. God loves you enough that He sent His Son to die for
Yeah.
you and to take your place for the things that you have done, the sins that you have committed, and that God is in His good love and His good grace wants you to be in His family, and He gave His Son as a sacrifice for that. And that is something that we should also be thankful for.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I'll end it on that, and then unless Larry's going to interrupt.
Well, I was going to say, don't ruin Thanksgiving by participating in the Black Friday sales.
Oh, come on, man. There was that
Stay
87-inch,
home.
85-inch TV.
Yeah,
that,
just stay home.
Just
Stay with
stay
your family
home.
and be grateful for that.
That would be
That's-
nice,
yeah.
but I do need those shoes. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right,
You
Joshua.
need that 85-inch TV.
Joshua doing all the work back there in the background. We thank Joshua for doing all that. And by the way, go to the Facebook page, follow it. I don't know how you follow it or whatever. We noticed that the people on the show aren't even following the show.
When I started looking for it, every time it would take me right to your personal Facebook page.
Okay.
And
Did it really?
Well, I didn't know the Facebook page was there, but I do follow the show.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Do you follow the show?
Yeah.
On Facebook?
Yeah. No, on Apple Podcasts.
Well, no, I understand
But
that.
I didn't know the Facebook was out there yet.
It
Now
just
I know.
started. Now you know.
And I
That's
guess
right.
I can actually
So
use
you
that.
have to type in the Mike Charleston.
Yeah, it's Facebook.com/Mike Charleston Show.
Right.
Is that right, Joshua? Okay.
Yeah.
And he'll put it up here on the description. Go Mike Charleston Show. If you do just Mike Charleston, you'll probably get me.
Yeah.
And then.
Or even if I typed in the Mike Charleston show and it still took me to you.
Well,
That's
Hey.
yeah.
do I get a blue check mark or something like that?
That's on Twitter.
Only for $8.
Yeah, $8.
Oh, is it $8? I thought it was $25. Anyways,
No, he said, how about 8?
Yeah.
I'll get a blue check mark for $8. I'm not even on
A
Twitter. A month?
I'm up.
Oh, no.
There's no way.
That's right. No way. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. This was kind of longer, but thankful for all the listeners. Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate it. And please check out all the other podcasts. Go to the YouTube channel. Do what you got to do. Check out the network. Check out all the other podcasts that are on the network. Go to fellowshipofbelievers.org and you can check out the network there. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Joshua Charleston, the producer for The Mike Charleston Show. If you enjoy listening to the show, please help us spread the word by liking, subscribing, sharing, leaving a review, or just tell a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you'd like to be a part of the show, please email us at talk@fellowshipofbelievers.org. We look forward to hearing from you.
We hope you enjoyed listening to The Mike Charleston Show. The Mike Charleston Show.